Thank you very much, Natalie. Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the London Stadium, where the only thing thinner than the ice on the concourse and in the walk up to the stadium is the margin for error for West Ham and Nottingham Forest. This is the first of 10 live games from the Premier League that TalkSport will bring you over the next few nights, and if you haven't felt the Arctic blast rattling the rafters yet, you've clearly found a way to keep yourself warm that the rest of us haven't managed. It is a six-pointer in the truest sense, a high-stakes game of survival where a defeat would leave either side snowed under by the threat of relegation. West Ham in 18th, with a frosty relationship between team, ownership and fan base, desperately needing to bridge that 4-point gap to safety. They're standing in their way at Nottingham Forest, who know a win in the capital tonight will leave the Hammers very much out in the cold. The conditions are frankly treacherous. The UK is in the grip of a freeze that's made even more difficult for people to get here tonight. That's probably why there's some empty seats inside the stadium. But neither team really can afford to slip up, and there will be an icy reception for anyone who does. West Ham need to show some iron in their soul, while Forest must ensure they don't crack under the pressure. For the loser, a winter of discontent looms. Let's see who can break the ice first. West Ham start one of their two new signings tonight. It is Castellanos who gets the nod up top in place of Callum Wilson, who's not in the squad this evening. Forest make two changes from the defeat to Villa. The referee is Tony Harrington, the VAR is Neil Davis, and Martin Keown is here. It's the first time you've commentated at this stadium, if I'm right. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
What do you think of it?
Interesting. I thought you were doing a weather report. The amount of times you referred to the weather was quite remarkable.
Well, I know that you were remarkable. You always bring
break the ice. Yeah, winter of discontent. No slip-ups tonight. And I wonder if the bubble will burst at this football game, just to join in with your...
You've changed the theme there.
Yes, yeah. But no, we are looking forward to it. You know, I hope we're going to see some spirit in this West Ham performance tonight. And these players are really going to get into the tackle, because we know what it's about. Whenever you play against a West Ham team, the fans, they're just that extra buzz, isn't it? When certainly in an Arsenal shirt, turning up for West Ham, you know, they didn't want you to do well, but I think they respected ultimately what you did. If you put your foot in, and that's what they want from their players tonight, to give 100%.
I knew you'd bring heat to the conversation. The Arsenal Invincible part of our commentary team tonight, Martin, knows that it's not enough not to lose this game. I think for West Ham in particular, Martin, they have to win, don't they, really?
I think they've got to. They've got to wake up now and start winning games of football. You know, I think in a calendar year they haven't done too well. We were talking about it yesterday on the show with Jim White, Simon Jordan, how depressing it's been here. And the fans now, they need to come here, a different frame of mind, more belief, but they need to see something on the pitch. It's a two-way thing, and let's just see how well they start here tonight. Paquetá is an interesting player. Sorry, I lost my microphone there. Just hoping that he has a good performance here tonight.
Well, the ball is kicked back to Areola, who is part of the West Ham team, shooting from right to left in the first half, in claret shirts, white shorts and white socks, and Nottingham Forest in their away kit of white shirts and black shorts are attacking the goal away to our right. And Morgan Gibbs-White has started to motor down the left-hand side. He's played it into Igor Jesus. Immediately Forest are on the front foot. Mavropanos gets across to him in the right full-back position. The cross comes into the box. It's a high one, which is headed into the air by Scarles, but the pressure is on from Forest in the early exchanges. 30 seconds gone, and they've made an intense start to the game, pushing West Ham back inside their own territory. Remember, West Ham had the kick-off. They sent it back to Areola. He pumped it long, but it's immediately come back the other way. And actually, I was at the game on Saturday when Nottingham Forest decided to sit off Aston Villa, but they don't come here with that same intent.
No, and look how many players they've got in the final third of the pitch. They're really pushing players forward. 6 players. Another long ball here.
Out towards Hutchinson, who's been really productive for them in the last few weeks. He takes the ball out of the sky, moves into the penalty area, he gets onto his left foot, comes in field. Sensio Somerville's got back for West Ham United to help out their defence, but before it can reach Lucas Paquetá, Murillo on the front foot, engaging high up the pitch, and Nottingham Forest have turned it over again.
Paquetá asleep there. When that ball comes out, he's got to retain that ball for his team so they can build.
Well, Nottingham Forest went with a low block, try to counter on Aston Villa, but they're taking the game here to West Ham United right from the off, signalling their intent. 90 seconds gone. Hutchinson on the attack again, left-footed, cuts in one way than the other. Scholes slips to the floor. The ball is released out to Ola Aina, who's back in the team once more. They try to thread the ball down the right side. It's Elliot Anderson with a risky pass which doesn't come off, and that allows West Ham now to turn defence into attack. And Somerville moves forward, plays it down the left onto Castellanos, who moves into the box, gets it onto his right foot. His attempt is blocked by Anderson, and it goes out for a corner on this near side. And corners could be productive for someone tonight, because both of them are terrible at defending them.
Yeah, Somerville, as a player that I really like, carries it well, then just threads that little ball. Good running from the new man into the channel. He's got one thing on his mind. He comes onto his right foot. Really, he should be trying to pass that back to Somerville, but we won't deny him an opportunity at goal. It's something that they need, West Ham. They need to start finding a striker who can get into double figures.
Crescencio Somerville to take the corner kick away to our left-hand side. The first corner of the game. It's West Ham United 0, Nottingham Forest 0 on TalkSport. 2.5 gone. In towards the near post it goes. It's flicked away by Morgan Gibbs-White, who gets a strong header on it. Goes out towards the near touchline, and it goes out then for Scholes to take the throw-in on this near side.
Yeah, Scholes looks a little bit nervy to me. There was one ball that was played into the box, and he needs to be coached to head that out for a throw-in, and he heads it back into play, and he's fallen over 2 or 3 times.
Well, West Ham's 3-0 loss to last place Wolverhampton Wanderers on Saturday was a surrender. Goals from John Arias, Hwang Hee-chan and Matthias Mane in 37 minutes sealed Wolves' first win and a clean sheet of the Premier League season. It was so disappointing that Nuno Espirito Santo had to come out and apologise straight afterwards. Ball played straight out of play by Jean-Claire Todibo on this near side. He had the ball under no pressure just before the halfway line, and he basically gave it to Sean Dyche, who was standing in the technical area just inside the half that Nottingham Forest are defending. Can you explain that? Can you just a simple 5-yard pass given away? Here is Hudson-Odoi trying to poke it forward into the path of Nico Williams. It's intercepted by Carl Walker-Peters, and the ball worked out wide towards the West Ham right. Paquetá shoulder barges Williams off the ball. Williams comes back at him. Walker-Peters then fights for it, gets the return off Souček into the area it goes. Anderson taps it away from Jared Bowen, and it's picked up over on the far side by Hudson-Odoi. Still 0-0, but it's a competitive start to the game. Now West Ham pressing a little bit higher up the pitch to try and force Nottingham Forest onto the back foot. Better though, Sam, isn't it? Better. Well, they need a little bit more of that. Well, we know Walker-Peters can do that. I think he doesn't want 2 back-to-back relegations, on his CV, so he's going to want to do something. And I think Paquetá's the link. He can play, but he has to have willing runners around him, and on this occasion Walker-Peters has done that, and it gets the team forward. I think it's worth pointing out that Natalie was absolutely spot on earlier on when she said it was empty and people were voting with their feet. I mean there's hardly anyone in here, let's be completely honest. It's half full tonight. And we mentioned that it was apathy that had infected the West Ham support. Well, they've sent a message. They're not here tonight. Half of them are not here tonight. No, but the ones that are here, if they're going to get behind the team, then I'll take that as a player. You don't want people here who are going to go against you. Let's see how West Ham get on here tonight. You've got to have maybe big kahunas if you're a player to get on the ball. We've already seen a couple of passes been given astray. So, be a man on the pitch and just make your passes and believe that you can win games. You need support, though, from your manager to be able to do that. But it's indicative of the way that the club has been run and the feeling amongst the support, and that there's no one here tonight. It really is very, very empty. For a 60,000 seater stadium, you'd be lucky if there was 2/3 full. I don't think it is. Here is Crescencio Somerville, edge of the area, right-footed shot. It's the first shot on target from 25 yards out, straight down the throat of the returning Matt Sells, and Nottingham Forest can clear it away. This is Somerville that he does. He's a little bit of a mystery to me because he runs really well off the ball and on it. He's hit that from distance, almost too safe, too well, and the keeper collects it easily. But nonetheless, it's an encouraging start from West Ham. Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0 in the Scottish Premiership tonight. Rangers got a good win at the weekend. Algeria have knocked out DR Congo from the Africa Cup of Nations, which does mean, I think, that if I'm right in saying, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who was in that team tonight, will be back soon for West Ham United. They'll be absolutely delighted about the fact that he will be able to come back very soon, because they've been knocked out of the Africa Cup of Nations this evening. Another body through the door for Nuno Espirito Santo. Ivory Coast are leading Burkina Faso by 2-0. And that's just into the second half in the Africa Cup of Nations last 16. Ball thrown down the near touchline by Oli Skarls. It's headed away by Milenkovic. Comes back towards Igor Jesus. Todibo, well again, I don't know whether he was trying to keep that in or he was trying to get it back to his goalkeeper. He's done neither, and he's given away a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area on this near side. The Nottingham Forest right. 7 gone, goalless.
Todibo doesn't look right, does he? Doesn't look comfortable at all right now.
Throw in on this near touchline to be taken by Ola Aina, and at Villa at the weekend he had a really big long torpedo of a throw which caused chaos inside the Villa penalty area. He'll be trying to do that again here.
I like him. He's a really good fullback, and there's been a big miss for Forest this season.
That was headed away rather easily by the West Ham defence and picked up in midfield by Paquetá now under pressure, but he gets it back to Oli Skarls, who sends it down the touchline and went straight out of play, and it's away for a throw-in on this near touch.
He did, but that was unlucky because he punched that with real purpose, and it was hardly any space. It is a feature though of West Ham giving the ball away cheaply.
Murillo for Nottingham Forest. String of 4 straight defeats has seen much of the initial optimism surrounding Sean Dyche's impressive start after his late October appointment dissipate, largely due to all too frequent occurrences of individual errors which have cost Nottingham Forest dear. And they've started with a bit of intent here, and they've got space down the left for Callum Hudson-Odoi. If they can feed him, which they do now with Murillo out towards Hudson-Odoi, who cuts in right-footed, plays it back to Murillo. The Brazilian looks up, then pokes it back to Hudson-Odoi, who might run at her. Walker-Peters, no, he gives it to Anderson instead, who's crossed into the box. It's a dangerous one, looking for Igor Jesus. Mavropanos gets up there and heads it clear, and then it's further away by Souček and then collected over on the far side by Callum Hudson-Odoi. He takes it down, faces up Carl Walker-Peters, straight it into the box for Morgan Gibbs-Wright, who's made an inside left run. It's back towards the far side of Nico Dominguez, who sets it back for Hudson-Odoi. Nottingham Forest on the attack here. He accelerates down towards the byline to try and take on Carl Walker-Peters, then turns it back to Murillo, who's just on the edge of the area. He bundles forward now. Back to Hudson-Odoi again, making the angle for Dominguez, who's right-footed cross into the box. He's aiming towards the penalty spot. It's flicked away by Mavropanos and comes out on the near side, but it's again Nottingham Forest shirt that gets there first, and it's Igor Jesus trying to force it into the penalty area. It bounces off Skarls, collected by Somerville, and then Dominguez has won it back again. He sent it towards Jesus once more. Skarls is bullied. Across comes Todibo, and he pokes it out of play, and it's away for another throw.
Yeah, Forest just going through the gears. So many players coming forward here, outnumbering West Ham, pushing them right back. Jesus makes really good movement, by the way. He's pulling on the shoulder. You're going to have to be about yourself if you're a centre-half tonight.
He hasn't scored many goals for Nottingham Forest, only one in the Premier League. That was against Wolverhampton Wanderers, but his movement and his hold-up play is getting better as the weeks go on. He's one of those still adjusting to life in the Premier League, I think. Here is Murillo trying to swirl the ball out to the far side. Again, Nottingham Forest come forward. 0-0 the score after 10 minutes. Hudson-Odoi pokes it back. It's picked up on the edge of the area. Dominguez with a shot. Oh, it's touched round the post over on the far side. I think it was Elliot Anderson who picked it up. Nico Williams, who picked it up and shot that towards goal. It was a right-footed effort which was turned round the post by Areola, and it was absolutely necessary because that big right hand had to come out. Otherwise, that was a certain goal.
Do you know this? I mean, the wingspan of this goalkeeper, I don't think there's many that could have picked that out. That's going right top corner from Williams. Wonderful save.
Here is the corner to be taken on the near side by Amari Hutchinson, the record signing. He places the ball inside the quadrant and then left-footed will turn it towards the far post. Goalkeeper comes out, flaps at it, manages to get it back towards Williams, who fires it well wide of goal from just inside the 18-yard box. Well, that was an opportunity for Nottingham Forest. That's 2 great chances they've had. One stopped by Areola. This time he came through a crowded group of players to flap at the ball, maybe a little bit too far really, pushed it into the path of Williams, who tried to get it onto his right foot, which wasn't really the required option, and he ended up firing it.
He was feeling good after that first shot, wasn't he? But he should have used his left foot. Areola there seems to trip over the ball, but you can't dispute what a wonderful save that was.
Well, he made some key stops actually against Wolves, otherwise it might have been even worse than it was up at Molineux. And he has obviously been the number 1 again this season, despite the fact that they bought Mads Hermansson. He started the season behind the former Leicester goalkeeper, but very quickly he was jettisoned. It's his 17th start in a row tonight for Alphonse Areola. It's still 0-0. You're listening to Talk Sports live at the London Stadium on a chilly night, and West Ham United desperate for some level of success against a Nottingham Forest team that can pull away from them with a victory here today. And I think a victory would be particularly damaging for this football club if Nottingham Forest posted 3 points this evening. Here's Todibo trying to move forward, looks a little bit slow as he does so, gives it straight to Olarena.
He's giving it away again, and it's interesting, the crowd are on him, aren't they? And he doesn't, the opposition are just forcing it to him. It's almost as if they were saying, go on, you have it and you're going to give us it back.
Nachish Fernandez drops deep to pick the ball up and then sees it infield towards Todibo. It's worked further wide out towards the right hand side. Mavropanos now coming up over the halfway line, just right at the centre circle. He floats it beautifully onto the chest of Scarles. The interception is from Amari Hutchinson, who actually does well to keep it in down in by the corner flag, and then it's touched out by Scarles. And I think it took a little flick off Hutchinson. It's going to go out for a corner away to our left hand side. And West Ham United have the chance to try and create something away to our left. It's the first time they've been in the Nottingham Forest half since the last time they had a corner.
Well, Scarles definitely gets this corner, and that's about endeavour, a bit of personality from the young man.
Here is the corner to be taken by Somerville. Again, Nottingham Forest have been vulnerable from these situations. Somerville to take it right-footed. It's in towards the near post. It's flicked on and it's helped home. I think it might be an own goal that. Paquetá at the near post got something on it, but Murillo got the final touch. Nottingham Forest set-piece deficiencies are laid bare once again at the London Stadium. West Ham United hit the front. It's an own goal from Murillo. And after 13 minutes, and with their second corner of the night, West Ham take the lead. It's West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Well, it's all about the quality of the delivery. We see so many goals scored from set pieces, and it's ripped into that near post with real pace on it, and it's just not defended. When it comes off the defender's head, he arrives there far too late. But the quality of the ball, Sam, is absolutely on the money. And Scarles, we talked about, putting in a bit extra in, running after, a ball that he had no right to get anywhere near, forces the corner that actually gives them this first goal here tonight. You have to look at all those aspects.
The rather optimistic PA announcer has given that goal to Thomas Souček, but it's definitely Murillo who heads it beyond his own
goalkeeper. Souček was absolutely nowhere near it.
Yes, it was an own goal by Murillo, and it's West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 0. And a bright start for West Ham United as a result of that. I mean, but again, Sean Dyche should be absolutely furious. How many times have they conceded from set pieces this season? Well, that's the 13th time this season they've conceded from set pieces, and that's far too many from a side that was so well drilled in such matters last year.
Well, it plays a major part in the game right now, doesn't it? If you don't pay attention to it, it costs you, and at the moment it's the only thing between these two teams. Because West Ham looked nervy at the start, one or two defenders giving it away, but as I say, they chased a lost cause, got a corner, and the quality came in.
Emmanuel Fernandez has scored for Rangers, who lead by a 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership as they close the gap to Hearts to 3 points if they get a victory tonight and leapfrog above Martin O'Neill's Celtic with a victory. They're leading Aberdeen by 1-0, 17 minutes gone there. It was a goal from a corner actually for Emmanuel Fernandez, and a goal from a corner here puts West Ham in front. You're listening to West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly like West Ham versus Nottingham Forest live right now. Search Now Sports. Ball up towards Paquetá, a long breaking pass which is nodded on into the path of Castellanos, but out comes the goalkeeper Sells, gobbles it up for Nottingham Forest, and they'll bring the ball clear with Milenkovic. And Nottingham Forest now got to find a way back into this game. They find themselves behind here. Here is Murillo, the man who scored the own goal. Into Gibbs-White, back to goal inside the centre circle. Murillo plays it square onto Milenkovic. And you just wonder how they're going to react to this, Nottingham Forest, having made a bright start to the game, a front-footed start to the game, and then suffered a setback inside the first 15 minutes of the match.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a clear pattern the way that they want to play. Williams is interesting, the fullback. He goes into midfield now. He's out wide on the left. really good interchange. West Ham just trying to stay compact on the edge of their own box, and that's what's been happening. I'm not sure Paquetá makes for the best presser, so this is like this mid-block, which David Moyes was very fond of when he was the manager here. Maybe suits their team at the moment.
Do you know what's really interesting is that Nottingham Forest will be encouraged by the fact that West Ham conceded so many goals that they will expect to get an opportunity tonight. 41 goals have been conceded by West Ham, which is the most in the Premier League, the most they've conceded in a season since 1965-66.
Incredible. I'm just watching off the ball here, just Jesus making really good movement. He's on the shoulder of the last defender.
Hudson-Odoi into Dominguez, then back out wide towards Nico Williams. Williams trying to take on Walker-Peters, gets it back to Elliot Anderson. Anderson then fires it into Hudson-Odoi, who's immediately surrounded by Fernandez and Bowen, and then the ball's lifted over the top, chested down by Jesus inside the area, trying to get it clear, pokes it back. Oh, there's no one there on the edge of the area, and it's going to run through to Castellanos, who turns and quickly releases Somerville. Somerville trying to continue his run forward. They play the advantage after Castellanos was taken out on halfway. The referee today is Tony Harrington, and he allows things to continue as that attack peters out because he was squeezed between the two centre halves, Crescencio Somerville, as he looked to escape.
Yeah, he has to be more intelligent there, Sam. You know, like I can see there's a player there, but you know what separates the top players from an average player is decision making, and Somerville there just tries to squeeze through a gap that doesn't exist.
TalkSport on a Tuesday night. It's the first of 10 live games across 3 epic nights of Premier League football. Tomorrow night we've got 8 games for you on TalkSport, TalkSport 2, Talk Radio, and then on Thursday night we've got a huge game, Arsenal against Liverpool. Here is Bowen, played down the right-hand side of the penalty area, in towards Castellanos. Header away by Milenkovic is a good, strong one. It comes back to Souček on the edge of the area as West Ham continue to put pressure on the Nottingham Forest defence. It's Bowen into the centre. Castellanos wins the ball but can't keep it under control. It's back towards Souček again, who fires a shot goalwards. It hits Murillo. Anderson engages, but Walker-Peters wins it back down the right side of the area. Low cross into the centre. It's away by Milenkovic and it's out of play on the far side and out for a throw-in. In fact, Anderson might keep that in over on the far side. He does brilliantly to do so. And now Hudson-Odoi looks to try and find an escape route for Nottingham Forest, and Morgan Gibbs-White goes on the counter-attack. He runs at Mavropanos. He's got Hudson-Odoi out on the left-hand side if he wants to use him. He does now. Left-hand angle of the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi on the attack for Nottingham Forest, who have turned defence into attack very quickly. Now Dominguez runs into the box. He lifts the cross into the box. It's away past the Brazilian Igor Jesus, and he has to retreat to the right side of the area and try and funnel away back into an attacking position. Out it comes to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White went to cross. Souček was sold the dummy. It's played into Hutchinson. Hutchinson lifts the ball into the area. It's headed away by the West Ham defence. Mavropanos was up there. And it comes back out towards Nico Williams, and now it's Forest's turn to attack. Hudson-Odoi's cross helped on by Amari Hutchinson. Away by Scarles into the halfway line.
Just happy just to boot the ball away, which is not ideal from a West Ham point of view, but you could say, look, it's a perfect start for them. They've got their noses in front. But they're going to have to keep trying to play football. They can't just balloon it into the other half.
Anderson to Dominguez, and then back in field to Anderson again. Anderson playing it on to Milenkovic, and then on to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White shepherds the ball down the outside of the penalty area for Nottingham Forest to come forward with Oloreno, who plays it quite strikingly against Somerville. It bobbles into the air and goes out for a throw, in which Aina will take. Gibbs-White receives it. He then is tackled by Matheus Fernandes, and it will go out for a throw-in to Nottingham Forest, who will try and launch this into the penalty area with Ola Aina. And he just takes his position up midway between the edge of the 18-yard box and the byline on the right side of the West Ham penalty area.
This has to be a West Ham header on this for me.
Aina with the delivery. It's in towards the near post. It's away by Mavropanos. It's out to the far side. Remember, Kilman was dropped to the bench today after a string of disappointing performances. Mavropanos and Todibo have been paired together today by Nuno Espirito Santo, the West Ham head coach. 1-0 the score here in favour of West Ham. Murillo scoring after 14 minutes. It's an own goal from him, knocking it past his own goalkeeper after a corner from the near side, which was flicked on by Paquetá and then helped further in by Murillo past his own goalkeeper, and it's 1-0 to West Ham. Here is Murillo inside the centre circle, floating the ball out towards the right side, taken down by Olorena. On the attack for Forest again. He pumps it into Hutchinson, then back to Aina once more, marshalled by Scarles, trying to flick it into Hutchinson and look for the return, but it's just fended away by Todibo, picked up by Dominguez, who's been lively so far. A little Cruyff turn to get him out of a tight spot away from Paquetá, and then Anderson plays it into Murillo. First time passing to Hudson-Odoi. He's got space to shoot. He does shoot, takes a deflection, does it? No. Goes straight over the top of the crossbar. Out for a goal kick away from our right hand side.
Really nice approach play, and then Hudson-Odoi ruins it somewhat. Just turns on it and he just leans back, and yeah, it's woefully wide.
Slightly surprised with that, because Williams was outside him as well. There was an option to nudge the ball into that area of the pitch. He decided not to use it.
Yeah, maybe just running out of patience a little bit, because they've played all the approach play for us. They've looked the best team. We're just looking at Sean Dyche now barking instructions to his team. But West Ham, with a little bit of a gift, you put the ball into an area and they've scored one, so no complaints really, but I'd just like to see West Ham on the ball a little bit more in that midfield area particularly.
Well, West Ham have failed to win any of their previous 4 Premier League games in which they've opened the scoring. The last time they did win a game in which they opened the scoring was back in August against
Forest.
Correct. Here is Igor Jesus, judged to have handled the ball.
You're not the only one who reads the stat pack.
Oh, just making sure that you were up to date.
Yeah, okay,
I know you were struggling a little bit earlier on with all of the devices that you brought with you.
Exactly, yeah. I'm trying to keep up with you, you see. Look.
Well, I just had to...
It'd be nice to get a signal on some of this stuff. Mind you, our producer that we have here has come to the rescue. Our technician is sorted me out.
Yeah, there's quite a few people who have had to come to your rescue today.
Hey, it's not over yet, but I've got to get home. I've got to get home from here somehow.
Yes, we're all very worried about that. Here is Aina heading the ball across to Igor Jesus, away by Scarles into Dominguez, and now Gibbs White allows it to run across his body. There's a bit of space for Williams down the left hand side. 23 gone. This is TalkSport. West Ham 1, Forest 0, but Forest are on the offensive now, and Hudson-Odoi gets the ball into the area. It's a poor delivery actually from him, and it's easily fended away by Mavropanos, but Dominguez again brilliant in winning the ball back high up, and they've turned it over on the edge of the penalty area. Anderson's done well as well. He's flipped into the box. It comes through towards Igor Jesus on the right side. He puts it back into the 18-yard box, but it doesn't come to a white shirt, and in the end the ball comes out of the penalty area. Aina keeps it alive. Igor Jesus tries to force it into the box. It's blocked by Ollie Scarles, and Matias Fernandez will be able to bring it clear for West Ham United, who are a little bit grateful, I think. The ball just didn't quite run for the Nottingham Forest attack.
Yeah, and it's sort of fallen into a pattern here now, where West Ham quite happy to sit back on the edge of their own box. They're the goal in front, inviting their opponent on. They just need more on the break. I think it will come in the shape of Somerville, who's got the pace but doesn't make the right calls.
West Ham haven't won in 9 Premier League games. They've conceded 41 goals in the top flight this season, and most after 20 games in 60 years. In all aspects, West Ham had to produce a better display today than they did at the weekend. They were disinterested, disjointed, they were toothless in their game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, almost as bad as they were in the game against Fulham the weekend before. They didn't even lay a finger on Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they have scored here. I don't think that goes down as a shot on target, as Nico Dominguez almost pinches the ball from Mavropanos, who was caught dawdling deep inside his own half. Doesn't come off Dominguez, but that's a threat that Nottingham Forest pose.
It is, but West Ham just keep wanting to go back. Ball goes into Paquetá there, and he goes back again. No, you're a midfield player, you're better than me, go forward, don't keep coming back. Okay, you've got to keep possession in the modern day game, but when you get it to a player of that quality, you expect him to play the ball forward.
Own goal from Murillo separates these two teams, and remember, West Ham United, who signed 2 strikers in this January transfer window already, have started with Tate Castellanos up front tonight in place of Callum Wilson, who's not in the match day squad. We expect him to leave West Ham United. The ball has been sent down the right for Jarrod Bowen to chase. Murillo has come across. Murillo's got there ahead of Bowen, but he's only nudged it out for a corner over on the far side.
That's twice now in this game. Walker Peters has sent really long balls into a willing runner in Bowen. That seems to be their best outlet. He does a little spin, doesn't he? And he plays it over the back of the defender. He gets to it first. The covering defender forced to put it out for a corner, and it's another ball that's going to come in and test this Forest defence.
Well, it's another corner, and remember what happened from the last one. Switching off from Murillo ended up putting it beyond his own goalkeeper, and Matt Sells was not too happy about it. It's right under Sells, who comes out, pushes the ball away cleverly. It comes back to Matthias Fernandes, who shoots. It hits the white shirt of Anderson and bounces to the right. Skulls keeps it alive. Paquetá with a chance to re-deliver it into the box. It's a deep cross towards the far post. Sells comes out, grabs the ball and manages to clear it away for Nottingham Forest. And him back in goal tonight, the guy he's replacing in the Forest goal, John Victor, experienced the full spectrum of emotions at Villa Park, didn't he? His day began with a moment of joy, instinctively saving from Ollie Watkins, and then, I mean, his match concluded in stark contrast to that.
Well, what was he doing all the way out there from his goal?
Yeah, a critical error of judgment, and he injured himself in the process. And Sells back in tonight. Here is Igor Jesus to Anderson, midway inside the West Ham half. Out to the right, Dominguez with a cross into the box, which is headed down by Igor Jesus, but to no one in particular. Todibo chests it down and just does the old Peter Kay have it and sends it long over the halfway line. Back by Sells, down the throat of the West Ham defence. Todibo goes up with Dominguez. Dominguez putting him under pressure. Hutchinson now coming after Skulls, and Skulls has to slide it out and away for a throw-in on this near side.
He's frightened of the ball, isn't he, Todibo? Honestly. Some of these West Ham fans, their heart's in their mouth every time that he gets on the ball.
Well, Anderson's given it away, and now a chance for Castellanos to start to experience a bit of counter-attacking. Tries to feed Somerville, but the ball is poor, and it's swept up by Milenkovic, who just steps in front of Somerville and nudges it to the far side. It's a West Ham shirt that gets it first. 1-0 they lead after 27 minutes on TalkSport. It's Somerville back to Fernandes. Fernandes out to the wide right, and Bowen. Bowen travels infield. Gives it to Somerville, bit of space for him to manoeuvre into here, and he runs down the right, feeds it into Souček, gets it back to Somerville. Souček again with a chance to cross now from the right-hand side in towards Somerville, comes to Castellanos, and instead of hitting it goalwards, he almost hits it towards the corner flag.
Yeah, he got it wrong there. That was his moment, wasn't it? If he comes onto that and hits it, this would be interesting if they can build upon this West Ham. But their confidence going with these players, a second goal would be, well, almost unthinkable, wouldn't it? Can you imagine if they could do that? But I can still see nerves here on the pitch.
Well, the next goal's absolutely crucial, isn't it? If Forest get it, you can feel the momentum will shift pretty quickly. If West Ham manage to fashion it, it might embolden them even further. 1-0 West Ham United lead. Alphonse Areola has it just left of his D. He clips it high into the night sky, the chilly night, bitter sky. In fact, it's a little bit warmer than it was when I was at Leeds United on Sunday, where it was, I think, minus 25. It certainly felt like that. But we're all wrapped up again today. It was a good football match, and this is turning out to be a good contest as well. Headed away by Aina as Souček tries to feed the ball to the edge of the area. Picked up by Dominguez, turned around the corner. Aina with a chance to attack now. Down the right for Nottingham Forest. So integral last season. Lovely ball into Igor Jesus, but he's got no support up there at all, Martin. He plays the ball to the right, and Aina then tries to take on Todibo, but he was very isolated there, Igor Jesus.
Yeah, that's an example of it, because they've had good patient play, West Ham, just for a little period, and then Forest have had to get back behind the ball, and they can't get up there. Aina is very impressive, isn't he? He loves to get forward. Lovely ball in there to the front man. Might come from him something special on this right hand side for Forest.
There's something on the pitch which one of the ground staff is not happy with. I don't know if it's Ola Aina's very tiny shin pad which has gone awry. There was I think that's the fourth official that's down there on the touchline that was getting involved in that. He's very wrapped up, isn't he, that fourth official? He's got a big stadium jacket on, a woolly hat, a pair of leggings. He's not ready to run the line if someone pulls a hamstring. Ball thrown down into the middle of the West Ham half. Souček's got it back, and Skulls plays it against Hutchinson. It goes out for a throw in the left full-back position. 1-0. Remember, tomorrow night, live on TalkSport, we've got Burnley against Manchester United. Who's in charge of Manchester United tomorrow night? Oh, we don't know yet, do we? Oh, it's Dan Fletcher tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, how many interim managers are they going to have? I mean, maybe it changes again next week.
Are you sticking the boot into Manchester United?
No,
again?
not at all.
You enjoyed that yesterday, didn't you? That's what the callers were saying.
No, I mean, it's just we're not allowed to talk. I mean, former Arsenal players are not allowed to talk about Manchester United, are they? Let's be fair.
Well, you're biased, that's the problem.
Are we?
I'm only ribbing you.
Impartiality, you know that.
Burnley against Manchester United is live on TalkSport tomorrow. I'll be at Fulham versus Chelsea tomorrow to see if I can do a bit of Liam Rosenyor spotting.
Oh, the name's changed, is it?
It has, yes. Here is Murillo up towards the halfway line, clipped forward, looking for Hudson-Odoi. It's headed away by Mavropanos, out to the right fullback position, and immediately Bowen is released down the right side, but Murillo is going to accelerate and get there ahead of him after Carl Walker-Peters played an intelligent ball, and it's cleared away by Sells eventually. And not a great clearance, it's gone straight back to Carl Walker-Peters,
who's playing well for West Ham, isn't he? He's using all of his experience.
Mavropanos, and he just pumps it down the right side, and it will go out and away for probably a throw-in down by the corner flag over on the far side. Did it take a little deflection off of Nottingham Forest play? No, it didn't. It's currently West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 0. And for the latest, you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get West Ham to win the game at 7-10. The Forest victory is 19-5, the draw 5-2. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes, 18+. BeGambleAware.org. This is Talk Sport. A foul given by Tony Harrington against Igor Jesus for a foul over on the far side, 5-6 yards in from the touchline. And West Ham have it once again. Sean Dyche going out to have a word with the fourth official, who today is Matthew Donoghue. The very wrapped up Matthew. It might be Matthew Donoghue, it could be anyone, actually. Well, he's dressed up down there. He wasn't too happy about that, Sean Dyche, and he was actually talking to the fourth official in the game quite vociferously that I was at the City Ground the other week. He was telling me about it. It was Manchester City game, when he was suggesting that Igor Jesus wasn't getting much protection. He's not shy about giving his opinion, is Sean.
Well, he can't be arguing about that tonight, because Jesus hasn't really seen enough of the ball.
No, and that will be a disappointment, I think, for Nottingham Forest.
Well, it's a free kick, and they're all lined up here. It's quite a high line, isn't it, Forest? About 10 yards outside of their own box. It's on the right hand side. It's going to be whipped in
by West Ham United. Matheus Fernandes, who clips it diagonally from right to left towards the far post. Mavropanos heads it down. It'll be Ollie Scarles to recycle it. It's away by Nico Williams, and then the ball runs into the centre circle, and it's all the way back for Carl Walker-Peters to Alphonse Areola. How important was that save from Nico Williams in the early part of the game? Because might be in a different situation now had he not come up with it. Bearing in mind it was soon afterwards in which Murillo put beyond his own net and gave West Ham United the lead which they have had since the 13th minute of the game, and it is West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 0. David Sullivan is sitting in the special directors VIP area. He's got a big blanket on today, watching from up on high. And there's a lot of empty seats inside this stadium as the West Ham fans vote with their feet about what they've been seeing here. They've lost 7 of their last 10 Premier League games here.
They have, but you know what? The destiny is, okay, points-wise, it's out of your hands, but if you start winning games of football, you can turn it around. And tonight, I just feel that 1-0 up here, it's like it could go either way here.
It's crucial, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's just got that look about it. The fans are sort of watching, almost stunned. But what, we're winning a game of football here. They're not really getting behind their team too much, but the players obviously need to just go for it a little bit more. I think there's something on. It's on for you if you really want it tonight for both of these teams.
Oh, it's a little dappling of snow coming down from the sky, which make conditions even better as we leave later on. But I just took my headphones off actually, just to sort of see what the atmosphere was like. I couldn't really hear anything.
No, it's very dull.
I could still hear you.
Yeah, you won't get away without hearing me tonight, that's for sure. But you know, look, I mean, with the more we talk, it's because the game, there's nothing really happening at the moment. I think West Ham are quite pleased with that.
10 minutes to go before half-time. Souček gets the ball tossed down into the right-wing position. It's a poor delivery into the box, which goes straight out of play, and it's away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. It's TalkSport, Sam Adderface and Martin Keown, the Arsenal Invincible, who's alongside us here, very much part of the TalkSport family. And he was on White and Jordan yesterday on what was a stellar day of breaking news, and the breaking news has continued tonight. If you've just joined us, we brought you a story just before 8 o'clock tonight that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in advanced talks to become the interim manager of Manchester United. Our chief football correspondent Alex Crook breaking that story a little bit earlier on.
Is that exclusive?
It's always.
Does he get the credit for it?
I think well, do you know what? Between the TalkSport breaking news team, and there's quite a few of us, I think they've done very well. Crookie obviously heads it all up, but they've done very well. Ben and Crookie over the course of the last couple of days and broken a lot of stories that other people would love to claim, I think. Yes. And some other people do break stories, obviously they do, but they do their fair share, more than their fair share maybe. West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 0. 10 minutes before the break here, the ball has gone down towards the right hand side. It's been nudged out by Amari Hutchinson. It's going to be a throw-in for left fullback Ollie Scarles. He tosses the ball down towards the near touchline. Anderson has picked it off though, and he sped the ball back towards Jesus. A little back heel into Hutchinson, who's trying to get beyond Scarles. He's fallen over again, and West Ham have just lost the ball once more, and it's gone out for another throw-in on this near touchline.
Scarles did fall over, but he makes an all-important tackle. Really good link-up play from the Forest players. Here they come again.
Aina with what looked like a foul throw, to be honest with you. Plays the ball down the right touchline into Hutchinson. Then Aina again round the corner, gets the return, has a chance to cross. It's a poor delivery from the right-hand side. Needed better. Somerville has it by the corner flag. West Ham defending here, trying to get it clear, can't do so. Milenkovic has won it back under pressure from Paquetá and Castellanos, who ends up committing the foul. And it's a free kick 5 yards in from the right touchline. Nottingham Forest taking the goal away to our right. Chasing the game, 1-0 down here. And Milenkovic has been sent forward by Sean Dyche to try and disrupt the back line of West Ham. Murillo dabs it to the right. Amari Hutchinson with a chance to cross. It's in towards Jesus. It runs all the way through the penalty area, but Bowen's got back there to help out and hook it clear. It's back with Nico Williams once more. And still no real goal threat from the second lowest scorers in the Premier League this season. Only Wolves have scored fewer goals than Nottingham Forest, and on the evidence of what we've seen in the first 38 minutes, I can understand why.
Almost lucky to have got a goal, even though it's an own goal. They've got to pull the trigger for us a lot more. Good approach play, but they're not really committed to really go for goal.
Anderson picks it up left side. Williams plays it against Paquetá. The ball deflected off the Welshman. It goes out for a throw-in to the home team in the right fullback position. Nottingham Forest had a lot of disruption. 3 managers already this season. The squad was bloated again in the summer by 13 new additions, and they haven't really got much better compared to last season. It was costly too, 200 million quid, and Edu, who is the sporting director, he is here tonight, the head of football operations globally for Marinakis' clubs. It's just come under a little bit of scrutiny in the last couple of days. He's a mate of yours, isn't he?
Yeah, of course, he was one of the Invincibles, and for some reason he wanted to leave Arsenal Football Club. I don't know whether that was the pressure of the job. He's landed at Nottingham Forest. There's been lots of comings and goings since he's been there, by the way, in terms of managers. He wouldn't have wanted that. Somehow I think Forest, to get back to where they were last year, you know, that counter-attacking team, played with so much energy. Tonight they've been asked to have the ball, and doesn't seem to suit them.
Well, they've lacked a goal threat, and Chris Wood being out doesn't help that. Here is Dominguez trying to poke it through to Igor Jesus. They were obviously really good at taking chances last year. Their conversion rate last season was ruthless, wasn't it?
Incredible.
And this season it just hasn't been the case.
You can feel the pressure is swinging now onto Forest, and everyone's a hero for West Ham. Suddenly just making a couple of passes, being comfortable in possession. Confidence is everything. Belief, of course, is something you need. You just feel West Ham growing nicely in this game.
You're listening to West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 0 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. We've got 5 minutes before the break. And West Ham have the ball inside their own half, and Jean-Claire Todibo has forced a pass back to Mavropanos, which had Martin Keown, a former title-winning centre-back in the Premier League and England international, wincing.
You know, the biggest problem for West Ham are their 2 central defenders in terms of possession. They're on the ball more than anybody else, and at times it can be sloppy.
Ball forward up to Morgan Gibbs-White, tries to turn it round the corner, but Matías Fernandes comes away with it. He charges through the Nottingham Forest defence and then tries to lay it off to Castellanos. He gives it straight to Nico Williams instead. Anderson trying to hold on to it. Souček trying to force it back the other way. Very scrappy. Lots of turnovers of possession. There's a little bit of room here as the ball's bowled out by Sells into Morgan Gibbs-White, who got the goal at the weekend at Villa Park. It's sent wide out towards the right. Scarles read that brilliantly, intervened, turned the ball over, and now West Ham come forward, but his pass is a little bit sloppy. It goes past Somerville. Paquetá rescues it, and he works it out to the far side. 4 minutes before the break. With West Ham leading by a goal to nil. Into the area, tries to find Castellanos. It's half cleared by Nottingham Forest, and then Now Callum Hudson-Odoi does his best to try and find an escape route. It comes off Souček and then off of Hudson-Odoi and out for a throw-in over on the far side.
And suddenly some football's broken out. It's gone from end to end. Skulls, the young defender.
Souček into Bowen, inside the penalty area, cuts on his right foot, tries to get his shot away. It's blocked by Murillo, and it bounces out towards the near touchline. Hutchinson then feeds the ball infield, and Dominguez comes upfield, plays it to Aina. Aina onto Jesus, who stepped over the ball and then ran into Todibo. But he's got it back again, Jesus, and then managed to work it away from Fernandez and Skulls, finding Olorena once more. Forest in possession. Anderson through the centre circle to the left now, and Nico Williams. He's got room to run into inside the West Ham half. He plays it out to Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's got Jesus and Gibbs White in the centre. Dominguez as well. He cuts on his right foot, curls the ball towards the far corner and hits the top of the crossbar, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick. And it's a massive let-off for West Ham just before half-time. Callum Hudson-Odoi, as he loves to do, cutting in on his right foot, curling the ball goalwards. This time the goalkeeper was beaten, but the crossbar wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the Williams effort, but obviously much better. Beats the keeper, all ends up, and it hits the bar. It's a glorious effort from distance, and we've just had just 3 or 4 minutes of a game exploding into life from end to end, and then really Forest will feel they should have scored there.
Nicholas Raskin has scored for Rangers to put them 2-0 up. They're going second in the Scottish Premiership tonight. Here it's 1-0 to West Ham. The ball is collected by Ola Aina, who missed the first half of the season with a terrible hamstring injury, which meant that he wasn't in the Premier League squad. He couldn't go to the AFCON with Nigeria as a result of that, but he is back now, and he's a massive boost to this team. And the ball is sent long by Murillo into the path of Igor Jesus. He's got hold of it now on the far side. He needs to find a pass. He couldn't. He then goes to ground on the pressure from Todibo. The ball breaks into midfield, and Murillo has to come across to stop it from reaching Paquetá. Halfway line is Anderson. He turns it into Nico Dominguez. Dominguez tries to thread a pass into Hudson-Odoi. Turns, runs into a bit of traffic, lays it off onto Anderson, then back to Dominguez once again. Goes wide out to Williams. Williams onto Morgan Gibbs-White. Again, lots of ball in and around the penalty area, but not enough inside it. Dominguez has won it high up again on that left-hand side. Into Williams, trying to chop past Fernandez. West Ham defending diligently. Dominguez has got it once more. Now Hudson-Odoi around the corner, into the penalty area. Walker-Peters follows him. Back to Dominguez, angle of the box. He's got Aina inside the area, who's come from left to right. He thrashes the ball goalwards. It hits the defender Todibo and goes out for a corner on the stroke of half-time.
Yeah, lots of a good approach play. Onana ending up on the left-hand side there of the pitch. Interesting, West Ham centre-halves crossing over at times and not really sure who's going to be dealing with the runner of Jesus, who looks a really good target man for Forest.
Well, the Nottingham Forest supporters behind the goal away to our right, trying to suck this in from a set piece. Here is Anderson underneath the goalkeeper, who comes and claims and grabs it, pulls it into his chest and sits on the ball. And that was good goalkeeping from Alphonse Areola.
It's something you rarely see. A goalkeeper actually who catches the ball. Wow.
It's actually amazing that startled you as much as it did, really.
You know, the amount of times they flap at it, they punch it, they're frightened of it. What was in a bar of soap these days for goalkeepers?
What were you like as a defender? Do you want your goalkeeper to come and do that?
Come and catch it. That's what you're there for. End of problem when she catches that ball.
Anderson takes the ball from the back and plays it forward for Nottingham Forest, who trail by 1-0. Aina in towards Jesus, who heads the ball into the path of Hutchinson. He tries to return it. Skulls blocks it. Bit of space for Morgan Gibbs-White, edge of the area. He's poked that into an area, but he hasn't really found a pass with it, and it's
sloppy, isn't it?
Skulls, and it was just a little bit.
He's an important player though for Forest. They've got to keep finding him, but again, he's got to be better once he gets it.
1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45 on TalkSport. And remember, you'll be able to have your say with the boys on the sports bar straight after the conclusion of this game, no matter what the result. 03717 22 33 44, the best way to let off steam.
Who's on the show later, Sam? Who's on it? Are the Chuckle Brothers on tonight?
Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Does that answer your question? Is that who you meant? As the ball runs loose inside the penalty area, it's away by Matthias Fernandez. Do you know what? I think they are one of the best duos on late night radio.
Do you know at the start I wondered, it's a bit tetchy and, Bundy wasn't sure about this youngster coming in, but now I think actually they complement each other very well.
Are you vying for the role of late night editor on
Just
TalkSport?
do the hours. I couldn't do the hours. How would I get home from there, from the studio?
To be fair, we don't know how you get home most days. Here is Hutchinson into midfield, poking it round the corner, bit of space for Dominguez. Now lots of room for Reina to get the cross in from the right side. He declines to do that, gives it to Dominguez. It's a poor delivery into the box, and that's the end of the first half. And what an insipid way for Nottingham Forest to finish what has been a very difficult first 45 minutes for them. They've had a lot of the ball, but they've hardly tested Alphonse Areola, apart from two long-range efforts. The burst from Williams, which was saved by the goalkeeper, the second one which crashed the crossbar from Callum Hudson-Odoi. In between times, the ball was put into his own net by Murillo from a corner. It's another set piece that Nottingham Forest have conceding, and with the tension in the air tougher to crack than the glacier, somehow, some way, West Ham have found an opportunity to melt that Nottingham Forest defence. They lead at the break, there's a long way to go. West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 0. I know you want to get back on this theme, by the way. There was a lot outside, but have these two shown enough grit inside the stadium in the first half?
Grit. We're back to the weather report again.
I thought you wanted to get back to it, you said.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, do you know what? I don't know. What our team talk would have been a bit like with Sean. Would have been a bit frosty with Sean Dyche at half time. Would he have got into his players a little bit? You know, because it's kind of like, come on guys, you know, we're not in a great position here. We need to turn this game around. So I think there'd be some harsh words from Sean Dyche to try and squeeze out a little bit more from his players, and he's making a substitution here as well.
Yeah, they've taken their time over getting this organised. The fourth official, Matt Donoghue, was struggling with the ball a little bit there, but Dylan Bakwa, who started the game against Aston Villa, has come on in place of Amari Hutchinson at the start of the second half. So West Ham starting with their goalkeeper, who is Alphonse Areola. The back four, which consists of the right back Carl Walker-Peters, who had a good start to the game. The left back is Ollie Scarles. The two centre halves are Todibo and Mavropanos, who was quite busy in that first 45 minutes. Souček and Fernandez, the two holders in midfield, with Bowen, Paquetá and Somerville behind Castellanos in attack. Sells is the goalkeeper. Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo and Williams the back four for Nottingham Forest in white shirts and black shorts, attacking the goal away to our left in the second half. Dominguez and Anderson. Then Hutchinson has been replaced by Bakwa. Gibbs, White, Hudson-Odoi behind Igor Jesus in attack. West Ham on the attack now with Somerville and Scarles moving down the left-hand side in an advanced area. Has to cut back, give it to Somerville again, and then all the way back by Souček to Todibo. West Ham in claret shirts, not much blue on them nowadays, and white shorts, white socks, attacking the goal away to our right hand side. And it is a very sparsely populated London stadium tonight. Here is Paquetá, tries to nudge it round the corner for Somerville. On the left side of them, West Ham United attacking, out to Scarles, who lifts the ball into the area. Milenkovic away, headed further clear by Anderson on the edge of the box, forward by Souček, and then gobbled up by Anderson once again, who's having to do a lot of work in front of that back line. Goes up to Jesus, and then Bakwa gets it on to Jesus again after receiving the ball initially. Bakwa combines with him once more, and I think one of the ideas of bringing him on might be to get people a little bit closer to Igor Jesus in the second half, and Gibbs White has certainly done that as well. Jesus has peeled out wide towards the right, Bakwa into the area, not a great delivery. The ball spoons up off Souček, and then it's collected by Bowen, and he looks for a way out of the defence and up to halfway for West Ham United, who lead.
Yeah, and who've started addressing the ball with much more confidence, dare I say it, in the second half. West Ham.
Bowen picks it up in a pocket of space edge of the area, left-footed drive towards goal, but he miscues and he goes flying over the top of the crossbar and out of play and away for a throw-in away to our right-hand side. West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 0. And West Ham looking to complete their first ever Premier League double over Nottingham Forest, and their first in the top flight since 1968-69. They've won 6 of the last 10 meetings between the two, and they might feel as if they could have been a little bit closer to going 2-0 up there, because Jared Bowen had the opportunity to hit the target, but both teams have only hit the target once in the game, and
he almost had too much time there. You know, he's gone through, it's all about, he's got time to think about it, and he's not at his best really. I think when he's instinctive, he runs up, hits it with far too much power off his left foot.
1-0. Still a long way to go in this game, you feel, and the ball is deep inside the West Ham half of the field. Mavropanos up to Paquetá, stopped by Anderson. turned over again. Jesus on to Morgan Gibbs-White, then Dominguez, and then Castellanos just stops him in his tracks. He slides the ball forward again to Gibbs-White, fires it back to Milenkovic. We need to get the ball forward and get it forward quickly. Here is Nico Williams into Morgan Gibbs-White again, trying to get it out wide to Callum Hudson-Odoi, who hit the crossbar in the first half. He feeds it into Williams inside the area, and it's a good opportunity for him to go forward. He goes down, it comes back to Dominguez, who hits it against the hand of Mavropanos. That's the claim, and the ball goes out and behind and away for what they are suggesting is a goal kick here. Dominguez is suggesting there should be a penalty.
Well, the referee has got his hand to his ear. I mean, it's Williams who comes through, and I thought initially, maybe they're looking, are they thinking, his arm is tucked in.
No, it's not going to be a penalty.
No, his arm's tucked in, so whether or not they thought Williams has gone over there, was there a foul? But in the end, I don't think that's going to be a penalty.
Well, it's not. There's no chance it's going to be a penalty. There wasn't a foul and there wasn't a handball. I mean, the idea of... I mean, the defender, the West Ham defender, I think it is Mavropanos, who they're accusing of handball, has his arms literally snapped to the side of his body.
Yeah.
No chance. And Tony Harrington has relayed that message to everybody else now. Goal kick.
It's interesting.
It did take a flick of someone. It should be a corner.
VAR has to get involved, doesn't it? So much. I think two of the goals scored at Fulham were both offside, weren't they, at the weekend? That's a first.
Don't start me on that Florian Wirtz one. Here is Dominguez out towards the right-hand side. Aina with a strong tackle on Scarles, and he beats him to it and moves up to the edge of the area. Bakwa now tries to... Well, I think he was going to try and get across it. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing there, Martin. He's given the ball away with a really befuddled back pass, and now it's picked off by Somerville, who runs at the Forest defence, gets right up towards the edge of the area, tries to poke it onto Paquetá. He's blocked by Milenkovic. The ball is switched to the right-hand side. Walker-Peters has it now, cuts in left-footed, drives the ball goalwards. It falls to Somerville, and he smashes it down the middle of the goal, past Sells, and puts West Ham into a 2-0 lead. Well, West Ham United have conjured a moment to savour, and joy has been in short supply around here, but it might just be making an appearance tonight. They lead by 2-0, 6 minutes into the second half.
Wow. Somerville, we talked about him in the first half. How do you become a quality player when it's decision making? And this one, he starts the move, in fairness to him. He goes on a great run, and then nothing really comes of it. And I was about to say, well, look, maybe the decision making there again, but when it comes back to him, the quality of his finish there is outstanding. And again, that's what you need in those situations. Somerville, look, running with the ball, it goes into traffic, and I'm just looking here to see if there's an offside. There might be is that Paquetá, or an offside situation maybe? Anyway, it comes back to the edge of the box here. It was Walker-Peters has the initial shot. He takes a really nice touch control off his chest, and just then finds a half volley finish. It's a really good finish. Checking for possible offside here.
Well, I don't know where the offside was.
Well, I think it was in the build-up, just on the edge of the box.
Well, Paquetá didn't touch the ball, did he?
Well, let's see. Could do it seeing it again in the replay. I haven't had a replay yet.
Well, we're just having a quick word with Morgan Gibbs-White, who's complaining. But the issue here came from the fact that at the other end of the field, Nottingham Forest were on the attack, Martin. Dylan Bakwa made a mistake for the Villa goal at the weekend, gave the ball away. The referee's going to make a decision here. He's going to overturn it. An offside flag has gone up. And you were right, Martin. This goal is not going to stand. And after that moment, that explosion of noise inside the stadium, and a real feel as if that there was proper joy, Tati Castellanos has been adjudged to have been offside.
I thought maybe it was Paquetá, but Castellanos, it's just in that build-up. And as we talked about the Fulham game, and I thought both of those goals were actually offside. Whether they were sort of levelling up there, are we allowed to make that kind of allegation?
No.
But anyway, look, that one there didn't look any more offside than the goals I saw against Fulham, but there you go.
Well, there's the graphic, the semi-automated offside graphic, which is making it quite clear on the big screen there just how offside that was. It's a slither of his back, which is beyond the line of the last defender, and that's a big thing for Nottingham Forest because they've been given a lifeline.
Yeah, 100%, and this is where we've got to get these calls absolutely right. Massive stakes on this football match tonight.
I must admit, I did lose a little bit of faith in the old semi-automated offside technology at the weekend. All that graphic.
I thought both the goals in that game were offside. No, Sam? Are you just saying the Verts goal?
I'm going with you. Yes,
thank you, Sam.
I did.
Well, there's something wrong with the groundsman anyway, because he's not cutting those lines very
either the
the
groundsman's got a problem.
He is, yeah. He needs to take a good look at himself.
The semi-automated technology's got a problem. Which one is it? Ball thrown in from the right-hand side as Anderson comes forward and let off for Dylan Bakwa, who gave away the ball and allowed West Ham to counter-attack. They thought they'd scored a second here, but they've been pegged back, and it's been that sort of season for West Ham. But just when they think things are starting to turn, a setback in shoes. Now, can you imagine if Nottingham Forest were to equalise now? From a long throw, far side the right as they look at it. It's tossed in towards the near post. It travels all the way through the 18-yard box. It comes towards Williams from Hudson-Odoi. He tries to fire it goalwards. It's blocked by Carl Walker-Peters, and it's out for a corner for Nottingham Forest.
And you know, we say there, you've got to get your head on it. Todibo, he goes for a ball and just completely misses it, and it causes mayhem behind him, and they just managed to get a block in.
West Ham United still leading by 1-0, not 2, after their second was adjudged to have been offside in the build-up to it. Here is the corner kick taken by Elliot Anderson in towards the near post, flicked on towards the far, and it sneaks in. It's a brilliant header, and speeding away to celebrate is Nico Dominguez, who came across the line of the goalkeeper, flicked it off the back of his head, it looped up into the air and landed in the corner of the net. And moments after West Ham United thought they'd gone 2-0 in front, they've been pegged back to 1-1. It's another set-piece goal that Nuno Espirito Santo's team have conceded. It's another corner concession from West Ham. It's the same old things coming back to haunt them, and Nottingham Forest are level in the match. It's West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 1.
Well, again, I mean, it's another ball in. I'm just saying, is it another own goal? Okay, he's claiming it. But you put that ball into that area of uncertainty when there's quality on it and the heads are raised. No, it's a flick. It is a goal, and it's quite remarkable for it to journey into that inside that far post from there. So hats off. But again, it's embarrassing really to concede from a set piece. The Achilles heel for both teams here tonight.
Well, he hasn't scored for 2 years, but he might not get a more important goal than that, Nico Dominguez. Here he is on the ball again, on the midpoint of the West Ham half, and will the tide turn now? 56 minutes on the clock. It's West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 1, and once again a set piece undoes them. That's the 12th time they've conceded from a corner this season, Martin Keown.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it really is embarrassing, and the manager's had, plenty of time to stitch in the information, get the players picking up. I mean, it was a bit freaky to score from that sort of angle, but at the end of the day, when you know you can score goals so freely against a team who defends poorly from set pieces, you're going to go for anything, and that's what they've done there. The quality of the ball again, this time from Anderson, was first class.
Well, just 2 minutes 46 seconds after that VAR decision, Forest score. And I did mention it would just be like West Ham United's season, that having thought they'd gone 2-0 up, immediately they were pegged back to 1-1, and now Sean Dyche's team might fancy their chances.
It's almost like a script we've all read before. If these scripts that we've seen so many times in teams that are under pressure, what do you think now? Forest another opportunity? Do you think Forest will score again now?
Here is the short free kick taken by Anderson to Gibbs-White. Then down the left it goes to Hudson-Odoi. A chance to cross. He sends it to the back edge of the area. Dominguez with a strike. It's blocked. It's loose inside the penalty area. Pinballing around. And eventually Souček will send it out to the far side, where Bakwa will shield it and allow it to go out for a throw-in over on the far side. Well, you'd put your money on that, bearing in mind that West Ham have conceded 42 goals this season.
And they look inspired right now, Forest, completely. All that pressure they were feeling has been lifted from their shoulders.
Here come Forest with a cross into the box from Bakwa in towards Murillo, who gets up high and heads the ball down, but he gets no power in the header, and it bounces into the arms of the goalkeeper, Alphonse Areola, and he then clears out towards this near side. And Castellanos now looking almost as isolated as Jesus was.
He's got 3 players around him, Sam. The goalkeeper has to realise there, just get everyone calmed down and build from there.
West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 1 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly like West Ham versus Forest live right now. Search Now Sports. This is TalkSport. Here is Dylan Bakwa down the outside of the penalty area taking on Ollie Skulls. Skulls puts it out for a corner and more nervousness amongst the West Ham support.
Bakwa just asking the question, testing the young defender who was equal to it.
Well, Nuno Espirito Santo was forced to apologise to the West Ham fans after the Wolves performance. I wonder what his message is going to be at the end of this. 1-1, hitting the hour mark on TalkSport, live at the London Stadium with lots of empty seats. Corner to be taken far touchline. It's whipped in towards the near post by Bakwa. It's pulled up by Tony Harrington, the referee, for a pushing and shoving inside the 6-yard box.
He's seen something at the far post, hasn't he, Sam?
What do you do in those circumstances, you defenders and forwards? What are you doing?
Do you know what? It's interesting because
come on.
It's interesting. Zonal, man for man. I think now a combination of the two. I was never really. I mean, I was a man marker in general play, but I didn't want to do that for set pieces because it's almost impossible. So we did a zonal system, and it worked very well. You get your best headers of the ball inside that 6-yard area. You've got players at the far post and the near post, and you just communicate.
I wonder whether or not that offside against Castellanos is going to be quite controversial, on the basis that when the ball goes through and he makes a play to get involved for it, I think there's a deflection off of Milenkovic, and I wonder if it's Milenkovic that plays the ball. Certainly the boys in the sports bar will be entertaining lots of discussions about that. 03717 223344. Not entirely sure if, because the defender attempts to play the ball, that can be deemed to be offside. If it's interesting. Anyway, we'll get clarification of it. I'm sure the Premier League Match Centre will give us some details. Here is Souček into Somerville. Good tackle that though by Anderson in midfield, and he's helped that through towards the halfway line, and that's a poor challenge by Jean-Claire Todibo, who goes wiring through Igor Jesus, and he's going to get himself the first yellow card of the game.
Todibo got there as quick as he could. I think Jesus, they're about to skin him, and he goes in a little bit late.
Well, I'll give you the Premier League Match Centre. They are suggesting the VAR checked the referee's call of goal, established that Castellanos was in an offside position in the build-up and recommended that the goal was disallowed. What they don't tell you there is whether or not the defender was the one who instigated the contact. Anyway, I'm sure we'll have a bit more time to discuss that after the match. Here is Anderson.
In their defence, I don't think they're getting that wrong. If that player is standing in an offside position, it's hard to get. Although, as I say, as a background from the weekend, sometimes you start to wonder.
Here's Anderson in towards the near post. A good header away by Mavropanos, despite the fact that the ball was swirling towards a dangerous area from Nottingham Forest, now on the offensive. Looking as if they're trying to force the issue here, knowing that they've got West Ham on the ropes. It's picked up by Bakwa, who's made a difference over on that far side. He's got it back again, down the right side of the box. He plays it against Todibo, who goes over to try and block him. It bounces out of play and it's away for a throwing on the far side. And it does feel as if there is just a little bit of momentum switching in the favour of Nottingham Forest.
Just Bakwa, I wouldn't say there's a lot of industry, maybe not a lot of craft from his play, but he is forcing Forest into good positions.
18-year-old Ezra Myers, the defender about to come on for West Ham as the ball goes in towards the near post. It's towards Jesus, headed away, picked up by Castellanos, who tries to drag the ball forward. It's a poor attempt at doing so, and he basically overran the ball. Williams pinched it and then he followed through, gave away a free kick in a dangerous area.
Yeah, he doesn't get booked either. The referee's so occupied with the substitutions, I don't think he's even looked at it.
Well, he's about to come on here, the young defender, Myers. Off comes Lucas Paquetá, and on comes an 18-year-old defender. And also coming on is Pablo. And the other change is for Ollie Skulls is coming on. So actually I think Myers will go and play where Skulls is, and Pablo will go and join the attack for West Ham United. And Pablo, who we've seen actually, had a little look at his goals that he scores for Rio Vicente in Portugal. A very tall, long striker who can be acting as a target man.
I think that's the right call there, taking Scarles off because of the pressure. He's had a good evening tonight, really. By and large, he's getting a round of applause here, isn't he, from the fans that are here tonight.
Ball into the box then by Nottingham Forest. It's up towards Murillo and it's glanced away and out for a corner on the far side. Myers and Todibo were the closest to it. I think Todibo glanced that out and it's away for a corner. Is that sleet or snow that's coming down now? But it's coming down a little bit heavier now, isn't it? Oh dear, that's going to make your journey even harder on the way back.
It's going to make this ball much harder to deal with as well. If it's going to be whipped in, who's brave enough to get their head on it?
Backward to take the corner, over on the far
it's all
side.
adding to the drama, the time they take.
Nottingham Forest sends it in towards the near post. Always a couple of deflections, it drops inside the 6-yard box and Ariola has to come and gather and pull it into his chest and just take a little bit of pressure off the West Ham defence. And there was a few nervous moments among the West Ham support behind that goal away to our left-hand side in the Sir Bobby Moore stand.
Well, you can understand that, and actually I think it's actually leaching to the commentary team, because every time there's a ball into the box it's not convincing. Who is that commanding figure back there for West Ham?
Again, West Ham on the back foot. Again, they commit a foul. Again, a free kick given away. And they quickly want to distribute it forward, Nottingham Forest. Up to Williams on the edge of the area. On the left, Dominguez's ball was flighted into the Welshman. It goes out towards Hudson-Odoi. Tries to squeeze it through a tight gap that wasn't really there. And then it goes out on this near touchline and Bowen is able to bring it clear. Back it goes again towards the right fullback, Carl Walker-Peters. And then it goes out of play for a throw-in on this near side.
Do you know that the West Ham have now got that look about them again, where you wonder where is the desire, where is that leader on the pitch? You know, Walker-Peters didn't want that ball there. He wanted it to be delivered forward. He's taken a little bit of a knock. You know, I think now you want the personalities, and Nunes, the manager, should be, you know, where's that clenched fist from the manager urging his players on?
Well, his arms are folded across his chest in a rather defensive body language situation. He's now just waved those arms into the air under protest because he doesn't think the free kick should have been given. But the tide has certainly turned in Nottingham Forest's favour since that equalising goal. 65 minutes on the clock. It's West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Live on TalkSport tonight in the chill of the London Stadium, where you can't really huddle together because there's not enough of the supporters to be able to do that. Martin and I have got an empty seat next to us as well, haven't we?
We have, yeah. I don't know what happened there.
I don't think anyone else wants to sit next to us.
There's another broadcaster next to us, and they've only brought one person with them.
Ah, yes.
Not sure why.
Here is Hudson-Odoi down the left-hand side, dancing into the penalty area again from a short free kick, and he just overran that slightly. It's a little bit naive. You would have thought in that circumstance, the free kick 5 yards from the edge of the box, they would have lifted that into the area and tries to cause a little bit of chaos for a team that can't defend set pieces.
Turning into a coach, you, Sam.
You're rubbing off on me. 67 gone. They'll never let us do this again, you know. Here is
West Ham Forest. Do you know what? If West Ham don't buck their ideas, they might not be in the Premier League again for a few years.
Yeah. Here is Bakwa.
That's obviously what you're talking about.
Fernandez trying to play the ball. It's a foul on Bakwa and another free kick for Nottingham Forest.
It's gone very scrappy, Sam,
it's gone scrappy, but also there's a lot of frustration amongst not only the West Ham players but the crowd here now, Martin. As the ball goes forward up towards Igor Jesus, it's not a great ball. Mavropanos steps across his line. He tries to keep it in, and he was a little bit fortunate there, Mavropanos, that he didn't make contact with the ball and then send it out for a corner.
So
it's
often,
a goal kick.
There's not enough pace just to visualise that for our radio listeners, obviously. The ball's going out of place. So many defenders get their body in the way, and there's not enough pace on it. Just deal with it. He gets away with it, though.
And I know you're one for big attacking metrics, but in the second half of the game, and we played, a good 22 minutes now, we're halfway through the second half. West Ham's expected goals tally for this second half is 0.03. They've had one shot off target from miles out. Apart from that, they've had 14 final third entries. They've really struggled to get going in this second half. The introduction of Dylan Bakwa has made a difference for Nottingham Forest. Collision between Aina and Castellanos. The referee says play on. The ball is collected by Myers and sent into Castellanos. He's looking for Pablo, who's gone through the centre. He finds Bowen instead on the right side of the box. He goes down the outside of the defender, Williams, who blocks it brilliantly, and it goes out for a throw in midway inside Nottingham Forest territory for West Ham United. He did lead and now have been pegged back. It's 1-1 on TalkSport.
I thought Myers injected a good pace there, Sam, on that left-hand side when he came on, and Bowen never looked like beating Williams there. He's got to have a little bit of a trick or something up his sleeve to burst past his opponent.
Pablo does well, feeds Crescencio Somerville on the edge of the area. Anderson accused of bringing him down. I thought he did. The referee said no, and Jesus is speeding away at the other end. Todibo comes across him, but Jesus has done brilliantly. He's nabbed the ball from him, and that's going to be a throw-in over on the far side. Tony Harrington is speaking to Jared Bowen and suggesting that he'd played the advantage initially and then there was no foul by Anderson on Somerville. What's your take, Martin Keogh?
Well, initially I didn't think it was a foul, and I'm not going to change my mind. I was rather surprised you thought it was. Now we're seeing some anger from the manager, Nuno.
He gets a yellow card, Nuno Espirito Santo. And he doesn't react positively to that. He throws his arms up in the air. And he thinks he should have had a free kick. What instead is happening is that they've got to deal with a long throw.
Yeah, and they shouldn't do, because Todibo made an absolute meal of the clearance and should be first there, but instead Jesus has created a throw in here for his team.
Aina with the throw in towards the near post. Myers putting pressure on Bakwa. Comes back out to Aina, who volleys the ball to the edge of the area. Headed by Dominguez. Comes back to him again. And then Williams went to strike, decided against doing so because he was too far of a distance out. He goes left to Hudson-Odoi, who travels on the edge of the area. And again, see, that kind of decision making is really poor, really, from Hudson-Odoi.
Overplaying.
Because he had the opportunity to put his team on the front foot, keep the pressure on, and he gave it away with a silly flick, which was never going to come off. Murillo doing brilliantly, feeding the ball towards the edge of the box, trying to turn away from the defender. Was there a push there?
Yeah, I think it's a foul on Fernandez, and it's just like his forearm smashed it, by the way. Anyway,
he did well to disguise it.
Yeah, well, you can do that, you know.
You know how to do that. 20 minutes to go. This is TalkSport. Fernandez back on his feet, back into Souček. 1-1 the score. 03717 223344. West Ham fans, Nottingham Forest fans, I suppose Leeds United fans have got a keen eye on this. It would be brilliant for them to see these two draw.
Do they want that, or do they want to see West Ham lose? What do you think?
Well, I think they'll be happy with a draw because it keeps the distance to everyone, doesn't it? It keeps everybody at arm's length. Ball sent down the right-hand side, collected by Williams, and then Anderson is dispossessed by Pablo Felipe, who moves to the edge of the area, tries to get it onto his right foot. He took too long to get his shot away or release the ball in the end, and then he fired it well over the top of the crossbar.
Do you know, it was as if he thought it was his own back garden and he had forever to shoot. I mean, I thought first at one point he's going to give this to Bowen, and he thinks, do you know what, I might as well hit it, and he just hits it so hard there's absolutely no way that's going to hit the target. Anderson loses the ball on the edge of the box, and he travels with it, and Anderson's almost gets the challenge in, and it's like a clearance.
It's double height of the goal, isn't it, when it crosses the line? It's ballooned. He did score quite a few goals actually in Portugal. Signed for Gil Vicente, where he got 10 in 13. Couldn't stop scoring in Portugal towards the end. Doesn't always translate that you score in Portugal and then score in the Premier League.
Well, that was his moment, and he didn't take it.
But he only scored 8 league goals prior to this season. Here is Fernandez, back to Bakwa, and then out to the left, and Williams now sending it forward to Jesus. Oh, what a flick that is, and he's released Dominguez in behind the defence. He's got Hudson-Odoi to his left. He's overplayed that, and he's forced him wide. And still, Forest have the ball. Back to Dominguez, right foot his shot, down low to the goalkeeper's left. He makes the save, comfortable one. Tested him, but not too much.
No, good football all around there. Dominguez hits it well, actually. It comes up, bobbles up in front of him, and the keeper collects it nicely.
That is a terrible clearance from Areola.
Yeah. Do you know, I'm just trying to look at some crumb of comfort, sorry Sam, for the midfield. I'm looking at Fernandez and thinking he's not that bad, but occasionally he just switches off and doesn't get deep enough in his midfield.
Free kick goes for West Ham, and that's why you got the ironic cheers. Sorry, you were going on about the midfield.
Yeah, I was just saying about that. Is that the right combination? I mean, there's a bit of experience there. Souček there, who's we know is like is he the modern day Fellaini?
Well,
the way that he ghosts around in that midfield.
They have been playing Freddie Potts in there, haven't they? And Magassa. But both those two players not included in the starting 11 tonight. They are on the bench this evening for West Ham United.
It's an experience thing, isn't it?
Well, they might get a point. 17 minutes to go.
But one of those two has to drop deeper occasionally alongside each other. Souček hasn't really got the fitness, and I don't really know if Fernandes has got the desire to do it.
He's still a young man, isn't he, Matthias Fernandes? Only 21 years of age, signed from Southampton for the princely sum of £40 million. Ball towards Bowen inside the area, on the shoulder of the last defender, pokes it into a dangerous zone, and again Castellanos and Somerville and Pablo are not there to finish it off. It's scooped behind by Aina, and it's out for a corner.
Well, that's about, I mean, it was a lovely little ball in from Bowen in the end, and it's about trying to read that. And he's not done it. The centre forward, the new centre forward, doesn't look like he's a predator in the box.
Rangers 20 minutes away from going second in the Scottish Premiership. Here we're 17 minutes away from seeing.
Well, it's a corner, isn't it?
But it's a corner to West Ham United, away to our right-hand side, in front of the Sir Trevor Brooking stand. And Jared Bowen is going to take this left-footed. Todibo is up from the back. Referee Tony Harrington watching a bit of pushing and shoving going on inside the penalty area. Sells trying to organise his team. All collated in front of him. The ball goes into the near post, split into the air. It took a knock off a West Ham player, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side, and Nottingham Forest survived that set piece.
Well, when there's a corner, I mean, you consider, is it 26 goals both teams have conceded this year from corners? It should be when we come alive as commentators, Sam.
Yes.
I thought you were looking at your notes there at the wrong time.
I wasn't looking at my notes.
Okay.
But please, you're alert to the danger.
It's the highlight of the game when there's a corner in this match.
And they haven't conceded 26 goals each. They've conceded
no,
13.
in total, yeah, sorry.
You didn't word it.
Well,
like
no, well
that,
done. At least you were listening.
No, I was listening. 1-1 the score. Here's Matheus Fernandes sliding the ball down the left-hand side. Interception on the far touchline by Pablo Felipe, who now midway inside opposition territory flicks the ball forward towards the edge of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. It's headed away firmly by Milenkovic. Upfield it goes. And Todibo's got it again. He's brought it down. Nervousness. Giving it away cheaply. Of course he has. It's picked up by Morgan Gibbs-White. Forward towards Hudson-Odoi. He tries to turn under pressure from Carl Walker-Peters, who gets his mate out of trouble. Because I tell you what, boy did he put him in a tight spot. Here's Bowen at the other end, running at the Forest defence into Castellanos, who couldn't control it. And it comes back to Carl Walker-Peters, who charges forward. Now on to Pablo Felipe. Back to Carl Walker-Peters. Low ball in towards the near post. He's saved by the goalkeeper. The follow-up by Castellanos is saved by Sells as well. It's a double save by the goalkeeper at just the right time.
Walker-Peters there, exceptional. We haven't seen him in the second half. Gets down this right-hand flank again. I actually thought maybe it was an impossible angle for him, but the keeper does an excellent save from the shot. Just stays on side, times his run, gets plenty of power in the shot.
Well, West Ham have got Queen's Park Rangers in the FA Cup. They go to Tottenham, then Sunderland come here, Chelsea away, Burnley away, Man United at home, Bournemouth at home, Liverpool away before the end of February. Boy, would they love to get 3 points on the board here. The table does not look pretty at this stage. 14 minutes to go. We're at the bottom of the table. West Ham United will have 15 points, Nottingham Forest 19. There's a 7-point gap from West Ham to Leeds, who have a game in hand over both of them. They play Newcastle tomorrow night.
Good luck with that one.
Here is the free kick for Fernandes into the centre, flicked towards the far post, and Mavropanos deciding actually, rather than attack that second ball into the box, he'll just allow that to go out for a corner.
I think he's right. He's also looked at the stats.
Here is Somerville to take the corner. Sells trying to organise his defenders once again. Everybody, pretty much, in Forest White is inside the 6-yard box. Only Gibbs White is outside it. It's deep towards the far post. Gibbs White heads it away from the edge of the 6-yard box. It's forward by Myers, but it's straight to Gibbs White. Not composed enough to get make the most of that misfield by Myers. The ball goes out of play and it's a throw-in to West Ham United. Both teams just a little bit scrappy, not quite able to have that culture and composure when opportunities arise.
Yeah, and you can just feel that it's just creeping. The nerves are creeping in. It's that Premier League status is everything to a top player.
Freddie Potts is about to come on for West Ham United. He's going to replace Matias Fernandez. Ball played against Pablo and out for a throw-in the left full-back position for the away side Nottingham Forest.
He's very workman-like, Pablo, isn't he? The new signing. He doesn't seem to be too gifted with possession in possession, but out of possession he's getting around the pitch.
He's only played a few minutes. We might see a little bit more from him as he settles into the Premier League, but he's certainly a big, strong, physical presence, isn't he?
He is, but I don't think he's an athlete. Do you know? And in the Premier League, you get found out very quickly. You've either got to be fantastic with the ball or you need to be athletic. I'm not sure he's either, but anyway, let's see.
Ball into the chest of Bowen, who's in the inside right channel for West Ham United, trying to get on the front foot as the game comes towards its conclusion. We're in the final 11 minutes of the match. It's West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 1. The ball is collected by Souček into Somerville. Somerville's had a couple of good chances. Plays the ball into Pablo Felipe. Felipe back to Carl Walker-Peters, into Bowen, who's trying to turn away from Nico Dominguez, who scored the Forest equaliser. Back out wide right, Pablo again onto Carl Walker-Peters. Anderson is there, can't quite get hold of it, gets hold of it the second time after Dominguez intervenes, and now a chance for Forest to break, and it's picked up by Igor Jesus halfway line. He just runs at Mavropanos, who pinches the ball and says, well, I think I'll take that, thank you very much. And then Jesus now trying to run back and atone for his error, helps Williams put it out of play, and it's away for a throw into West Ham on this right hand side. Potts is coming on. He's going to replace, as we mentioned, Fernandez. It's currently West Ham 1, Forest 1. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get West Ham to win at 19-5, Forest 16-5. The draw is 5-3 on. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Martin Keogh.
Yeah, and the game's become so congested, and West Ham just need to go wide with the ball. This man taking the throw in, Walker-Peters, has done really well in that role, but it's a lot for the fullback to keep getting up there.
Great take by Jesus, who brought the ball down brilliantly and then back-heeled it through the legs of Potts into Hudson-Odoi. His ball centrally is cut out by Myers, and he's released Bowen, who into the penalty area right side, tries to get the shot away, blocked by Murillo. Excellent intervention by the central defender. It goes out for a corner on this near side. There was some suggestion there might be an offside flag up on this near side as Bowen escaped down the inside right channel, but as he pulled the trigger, as he gets into that familiar position, it's a brilliant stop from Murillo, covers the ground superbly.
Yeah, he's got no right to get there, and Bowen has to be quicker in those situations. I thought actually it was a tad offside, but anyway, who cares?
Corner kick for Jared Bowen on this near touchline to take it. Left-footed, he'll arc it in towards the near post. It causes a little bit of disruption, but it's headed away by Murillo, who scored the own goal that put West Ham in front. Back in by Myers, headed away by Milenkovic. Not a great clearance. It falls to Bowen inside the box. His left-footed ball driven towards the near post is well wide of the target, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side, and it remains 1-1, and the frustration is being laid bare as the cameras pan to some of the more angry supporters behind the goal.
Souček there, it was a lovely deft header, just flicks it on. He knows Bowen's coming onto it, and again Bowen there just not showing the ability in front of goal. He tries to take it down and then he misses the target.
Yeah, well, 10 minutes to go, and you're starting to see the West Ham supporters trickle
Exodus.
out now. Yeah, they've seen enough, some of them. Is there going to be a late twist in the tail here in the race to keep away from the relegation zone? A West Ham United goal now would change the complexion of things quite considerably at the bottom of the table. If West Ham were to score now, it would be 17 points and 18 points between West Ham and Forest, just a point between them. But if Forest were to score now, well, there would be 7 points between them and that dotted line. That's how crucial the next 7 minutes are. Here is Williams down the left, trying to take on Bowen. He's got Also Carl Walker-Peters down that side as well. They go central to Morgan Gibbs-White, then back to Hudson-Odoi down this left-hand side. Dominguez has joined them. Gibbs-White has just moved into a pocket of space in the number 10 position. Williams with a chance to cross, but there's no one really to aim at. The ball goes wider on to Hudson-Odoi, goes down towards the byline, cuts in, plays it back to Williams. Patient from Forrest. The ball eventually goes into the box. It falls kindly for Gibbs-White. Almost turned his back on the ball, and it's cleared away by West Ham.
Well, I admire the patient build-up, but 3 or 4 times that ball could have gone into the box, and eventually when it does, there's not enough quality on it.
Here is Murillo, 7 minutes to go. Clipped down the left, it's aimed towards Hudson-Odoi, who chests it away from Carl Walker-Peters, helps it into Williams. Williams comes forward, he bounds past Pablo, then goes down, gets a free kick right on the edge of the area, and Pablo with a really silly challenge that could be costly for West Ham.
Naive. And it's probing again from Williams, who's done excellent. I'd just like to see him deliver the ball earlier. He's one of them that's guilty of dummying to pass it into the box and doesn't. Anderson's on the ball, by the way, and it's just on the left-hand side of the box.
Well, they've taken a couple of these short. I would suggest that this is not the time to do that.
No, this ball's going to go in
Anderson,
with pace.
3 yards back from the left edge of the area, on the attack for Nottingham Forest, a chance to hit this right-footed and arc it towards the 6-yard box. Igor Jesus, Nico Dominguez, Milenkovic and Murillo all in the attacking zone. Anderson sends it towards the far post. Goalkeeper comes, doesn't get a great punch on it. There's a collision inside the area. The referee allows play on despite the goalkeeper being down and 2 players being on the floor. It goes out of play over on the far side and away for a throw. Now the referee will stop to get an assessment on Gibbs-White and Todibo.
Well, Gibbs-White's really brave there, I can tell you. He puts his everything on the line. It's whipped in the goalkeeper. It's a big man, Areola, as we've already talked about. He gets to it, and goodness me, Gibbs-White's on his feet, thankfully.
Well, hold on a second.
You think that's a foul?
Well, does he get any contact on the ball here, Areola? Or does he just punch Morgan Gibbs-White in the head?
Well, he does. I don't believe he gets to that ball, but he certainly catches it. But is this significant enough?
Well, does he connect with the ball?
We just need to see that again.
I think it's a penalty.
Yeah, do you know what? VAR's all over this because he doesn't actually get to. He's nowhere near the ball. He's nowhere near it.
He doesn't get the ball, and he punches Morgan Gibbs-White in the head. It's a penalty, Martin.
Yeah, and the referee's coming over here to have a look at the screen. He wants to be satisfied because he had a really good position for the actual incident.
It's a penalty.
Sean Dyche is licking his lips here.
The goalkeeper has come out, he's got nowhere near the ball, and he's contacted with Morgan Gibbs-White's head. It's a penalty. And Tony Harrington is coming over to look at the monitor, and he's going to give a penalty.
I can see why the referee missed it, because it was a melee.
Yeah. Well, there's a real nervousness now amongst the West Ham support, because they were 1-0 up in this game, and Nottingham Forest haven't won a game when they've been behind at half-time in the Premier League since being re-promoted to the Premier League. But this is huge, because if this call goes against West Ham, and this is a penalty, this could be a massive moment in the race to stay in the Premier League. Tony Harrington is reviewing the monitor, he's watching the pictures as we have done, and he should come to the same conclusion, I think, as we did, that is a push in the face of Morgan Gibbs-White. He waits, he looks up, he is going to give a penalty here, I'm pretty sure of it. He's gone over to have a word, he's blown his whistle, he's done the TV sign. It's a penalty to Nottingham Forest in the 87th minute of the game. That's the view of the Nottingham Forest supporters away to our right. This is a massive opportunity in the context of the race to stay in the Premier League. Now, Nottingham Forest, who were beaten by West Ham earlier in the season, have been awarded a penalty, and the crowd have just seen the incident on the big screen. They're not happy about it, but it's a massive chance this. Who takes it? 5 penalties this season, they've scored 4 of them. Only Morgan Gibbs-White has missed so far.
Well, someone's just booted the ball away. Areola he's a very angry man. It'd be very interesting to see if he can actually save this. I think he has a bit of form from penalties, this goalkeeper.
It's going to be Morgan Gibbs-White. the captain of Nottingham Forest. This will give him the opportunity to steer his team 7 points clear of West Ham at the bottom of the Premier League.
Big pressure.
Huge pressure on the shoulders of Morgan Gibbs-White. Can he handle that pressure? He scores here, and all of a sudden the complexion completely changes. 7 points will be the margin if he can connect with this and put Forest in front. Can they come from behind to lead at the London Stadium? A penalty given against West Ham in the 87th minute. It's ticked over to 88. He steps up, right-footed, and drills it through the middle of the goal and into the back of the net. And Nottingham Forest have come from behind to lead at the London Stadium. And in the darkest depths of winter, West Ham United have started to feel even colder, even darker, and their prospects have got even worse. 7 points the gap now between Nottingham Forest in 17th position and West Ham in 18th, and the weight of the world is on the shoulders of Nuno Espirito Santo as his former captain, the Nottingham Forest captain, fires the tricky trees into a 2-1 lead.
Well, we're just looking at a replay here, and the goalkeeper goes quite early on this, a big aggressive dive to his right hand side, and he puts it straight down the middle. He's nerveless, and there's a lot of pressure on that goal. This is vital points for Forest. Sean Dyche telling his players, think about it, come on, let's not give another one away. And that really, that's cue, isn't it, to leave the ground in massive numbers. West Ham fans here, a massive exodus of fans as that hit the back of the net.
Well, Forest hit the front for the first time, and they give their former boss a huge problem. We're into the 90th minute, and West Ham United find themselves behind, and for the first time since promotion to the Premier League, Nottingham Forest have come from a deficit at half-time to lead and possibly win the game. Here is Anderson, they're defending for their lives now.
Great challenge from Anderson, by the way, sees the danger. Walker-Peters trying to get forward again.
There's going to be 7 minutes of added time. Where the hell has that come from?
Goodness me.
Morata is about to come on to replace the half-time substitute, Dylan Bakwa. Well, there's a reason for that. They're just going to stuff everybody back to make sure that they see this out. They've got 7 minutes to see it through. The mood amongst the West Ham supporters silent between toxic and apathetic. It's going to be noxious if they don't end up getting anything from this game. West Ham are losing now. Hudson-Odoi puts the ball out on the near touchline. And there's an urgency about West Ham, but have they got the quality to be able to pierce this Nottingham Forest defence? West Ham's situation perilous. And those Nottingham Forest fans are making sure everybody knows about it. The cameras pan to David Sullivan, wrapped up on his seat in the director's box. He's one of the very few West Ham people that are still here, because when that goal went powering past Alphonse Areola, the trickle that were going down the exits turned into a much more free-flowing river of exodus.
Well, that's the West Ham fans. That's all part of the script, isn't it? We were talking about the script. Could they come back into it, Forest? Could they then go in front? I don't think we expected to see a penalty given away in that fashion. It must have always had to be down to some sort of set piece, though, did it, in this game?
Ball into the box by Freddie Potts. You're listening to Nottingham Forest against West Ham. West Ham were leading and then they got pegged back. West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 2 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. We're into the 92nd minute of 7 added at the end of the game. Here is Mavropanos. And West Ham United, who have almost felt as if they've been destined to be sucked into a relegation fight for the last few years, now have got a huge job on their hands to stay in the Premier League. The gap to safety will be 7 points. Here is Igor Jesus trying to make it worse. Todibo comes across and covers on the edge of the area and guides it back towards Alphonse Areola. West Ham need to find a source of inspiration from somewhere, but though those sources of inspiration have been in short supply. Their second half performance, I must admit, has been pretty poor. After what was an adequate first half in which they went in with the lead, their second half, they haven't built on it, Martin.
No, they sat back and hoped that they could see it through. And of course, Forest, just a little bit too much quality on the pitch, and the Achilles heel, conceding goals from set plays.
Well, I suppose it does go down as that, because Areola making the mistake from another set-piece delivery into the box. And you also have to factor in that disallowed goal, which the West Ham fans will contest, I'm sure, where Somerville thought he'd put them into a 2-goal lead, but they were robbed. Whether or not that was the correct decision or not, that will be debated with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy tonight on the Sports Bar. But so many other things too should be debated, because their actual attempts on goal in the second half have been few and far between. 03717223344 as the ball is played towards the edge of the box, and Jean-Claire Todibo launching it high into the air. There's a collision of heads on the edge of the box, and going down to grab a few extra spare seconds is Nico Williams, and I think maybe
there's an arm
yellow card up for an arm against Carl Walker-Peters.
Definitely.
And it's going to be a free kick. This is Talk Sport. I'm sure that Nuno Espirito Santo can't quite believe what he's witnessing. Their recent decline has been marked by baffling decisions over the last 3.5 months. Positional swaps for fullbacks, the strikerless lineup in losses to Brentford and Leeds, the inclusion of fringe players like Guido Rodriguez against Brighton. There's been no new manager bounce since Nuno walked into the door. More apologies than victories. The frequent selection of out-of-form Max Kilman was rectified tonight, but Todibo has looked shaky, and it's accelerated the fans' angst over the club's sharp downturn in fortunes. And those downturn in fortunes are going to take an even sharper decline tonight, because the gap to safety will be 7 points. Nottingham Forest will be absolutely delighted. Here is Morgan Gibbs-White over on the far side, being pursued by Somerville, gives away a foul. I don't think the situation has been helped by the frequent rotation of managers at West Ham. I think it's accelerated the descent into a relegation fight, a level.
Have they looked anything like a Premier League team tonight for you? You see enough games, you go to enough matches. It doesn't look like it's there, Sam, does it?
Well, there hasn't been enough creativity for a start. The midfield looks a little bit one-paced, and the defence is all over the place, and that is a big, big problem.
I mean, they're playing, is it QPR at the weekend in the FA Cup, and is that a just rehearsal for what we'll see next season for West Ham?
Well, they haven't played at that level since 2010-11. And there were reports that they might dismiss Nuno Espirito Santo if results continued to take a downward spiral. Spiral they have. He's managed just 2 wins since he's been here, and they seem a long time ago now. It's going to be 10 Premier League games without a win. Here's Williams down the left-hand side, careering forward for Nottingham Forest. He's brought down by Mavropanos, who's going to get a yellow card.
Well, it's
West
him.
Ham are losing their discipline.
Do you know, it's Mavropanos who gives the ball away, and fair play to Williams. He picks it off, goes on a 30-yard run, and just sidesteps him. As you'll see a replay, just transfers it from the right foot to the left foot, and he just gets wellied.
Well, it's another set piece. I don't think this one's going to go into the penalty area, Martin. Look at the emptying seats. If it was completely barren beforehand, it's almost completely empty now. No one sticking around to see the final whistle. The West Ham fans who didn't turn up in their numbers tonight, they only half populated the stadium from the start. There's now just a dappled presence of West Ham followers inside this very cavernous stadium, and that just tells you everything about the relationship between supporters and club, as free kicks are given in West Ham's favour. One last chance to launch it forward. 96 minutes 45 seconds play. We've got 7 minutes of added time that have been allotted. We're into the final 15 seconds of that now. Is there a chance for a West Ham equaliser right at the very end? Here is Pablo Felipe, midway inside the Forest half. He exchanges passes with Myers, not going anywhere here. We've now played our 7 minutes. They need to get the ball into the box. They haven't done so. It comes out to Mavropanos. He launches it goalwards. He takes a deflection. It's headed away by Anderson. It's loose on the edge of the box. It falls to Somerville. He's under pressure from Dominguez, who's shepherding him away from goal rather than to it. It's picked up in the centre. It's clipped forward by Potts, out towards the near side. Hudson-Odoi gets there. Williams drives it out. They go out to the near touchline and they kick it upfield. And Jesus is able to escape now for Nottingham Forest. He's told to go to the corner by Ian Wone and by Sean Dyche. Mavropanos comes across. He wins the ball, but it's Nottingham Forest who win the match. And you can see the relief on their faces. And you can hear the boos from the West Ham United crowd. If the relationship between West Ham's fans and the ball was frosty beforehand, it's been plunged into the realms of sub-zero now. Defeat leaves the Hammers 7 points from safety. They aren't on thin ice. The ice is cracking beneath their feet. They are in real danger of being frozen out by Forest. Sean Dyche's men knew how important this was. A win that keeps West Ham at arm's length as they enter a testing period. Psychologically, it's a massive, massive boost after 4 straight defeats. Morgan Gibbs-White taking the pressure on his shoulders and converting a penalty with 3 minutes to go. It means the gap to West Ham is 7 points, and West Ham United can see their hopes of Premier League football next season melting fast before their eyes. Long before the final whistle there was an exodus. Long before the start of the game we realised that not everyone was turning up tonight, but their dreams, like the bubbles that are blown from the machine before kick-off, seem to be fading and dying. West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 2.